okay, where we can at least use our area of expertise. Thank you, Professor Pahari, for inviting me. Thank you, Director IIT Hyderabad, I think, for allowing this group to be formed, and your HOD of your department, all the scientists, because I think all the institutions should come in this area, which is very warranted for the communication purpose. And also, thank you, I think Arpita, she took the whole responsibility to start this program. So thank you, Arpita, you as well. So now let us start our today's interaction, because the motive of today's talk is not only just a talk related to some scientific concept of astronomy and astrophysics. When I was discussing about this whole matter with Professor Pahari, so we decided that we should focus on some very practical aspect. I know some of you may be amateur in terms of accessing night sky. Some of you may be BTech students of IIT, or some of you also be connected from other side from IIT Hyderabad through that club. So we thought we should use some simulating software to help you to understand how we can plan all the activities in advance, and also how we can use these tools. There are plenty, but I'm going to talk about only two tools which are very much popular, very much successfully used across the globe, and also one is having full even scientific backup. If you want to do real if you are really interested to do more than night sky observation, then it is also equipped with that kind of facility. So I'll share my screen, and then we'll talk. So basically, before going these two applications, I think you may all be knowing, I don't know exactly, how many of you are familiar with stellarium?
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, one. Arpita said yes. And how many of you are really familiar with worldwide telescope? Sri Sumanji. Very good. Fantastic. So these tools are very essential part, even for if some of us are having a deep interest in astrophotography, then we can also figure it out how we can use these tools especially for capturing night sky. As we all know, and as I have been told by Professor Pahari, sorry for interrupting. Extremely sorry, because I'm also in office today. So that's the beauty of, and this is a science center. As you know, people are really curious to come and visit on weekend also. So people are very much hurry in joining some other activities, because today is also a Children's Day. So on this note, I should say Happy Children's Day to all of you. So, and we all are very much part of that imaginative world, the journey we have started very long. So I was talking about these two visualization software. We also call them simulating our night sky. So simulation of night sky is one part of astronomy, and that is very much needed, even for professional astronomers, because you have to figure it out what you are going to watch, what will be the timing, and how you are going to use what sort of your experimentation based on your objectives, yani what type of science you are going to do with that object. But in our case, since this club is basically designed to infuse interest in astronomy in surroundings of the institutions or in remote areas also. So the very purpose of this club is very much connected with the objective. And I have been told by Professor Pahari also that your club is having, department is having 14-inch telescope. So that is really very important tool, and I should say the time.
Hello, is it Saket, your pro issues or issue at my end?
No, it's probably global, I guess, like all of us. I can. The video is paused. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
video
there's.
is paused.
I think internet issue or power cut or something. Yeah.
Okay, let me call him then. Saket, can you hear me or can you hear us? Hello. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I think he has some issues, so he disconnected. He will join again. I hope we'll be back offline soon, so this kind of issues will not be there. So, I mean, someone can come and just talk in front of us instead of having such issues. But also one more thing, like what kind of lectures or what you are interested to hear, also please do let us know. Okay, in that case, like we can organize or invited speakers based on your interest, like the type of topics, the type of stuff you want to listen. Like for example, if you want to know what are the new missions coming up, so you can let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, Saket is back. Yeah, let's start. Yeah.
Sorry for the inconvenience. As we all know, communication, space research communications in astrophysics and astronomy matters a lot. And we sometimes lose signals while we are tracking or using our own spacecrafts in the orbit. So it happens sometimes, and this is a part of technology. So sorry for that inconvenience. So let us continue. And the 14-inch telescope, which you have, using that telescope, many things can be done depending on your location where you are using the telescope. And before that, these two applications which I was talking about are very essential and powerful tool. So let us start with this telescopes tool, which we call stellarium. Then we will come on worldwide telescope, and then we will have a question answer session after that. So this is just a small rough background of today's discussion. So I'm sharing the screen. Professor Pari, allow me to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Why it is not allowing?
I didn't get any request for allowing, so anything.
Just a minute. It is not entire screen. I'm asking. There are two applications which are already open in my screen, but the software is not saying. It's not showing the soft screen. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah.
So as we all know, this is a very powerful tool and it's easy to use. And most of us are using, even background of any sort of in science, this is very easy to handle tool. So the very important part I wanted to make how this can be utilized planning. So the moment we are going to switch on, and based on our current location and timing, actually chalk out the we can actually simulate the local night sky in our sky. Right now it's 11:17 a.m. in Bhopal, so local time is okay for all over India, but actually this is a Indian standard time, not exactly the local time. So Bhopal's time is much ahead or behind the central reference time. I think all of you may be familiar with the central location of time in our country, which is Yul, that is the Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. So from there, this time is being controlled. So, but for us, we have to work out. So that is the reason this latitude and longitude is required to chock the entire night sky view. Here, the features. Suppose for today's observation, we want to plan for roughly, I'm just simulating to night sky of Bhopal. So if you want to plan this entire, for today's evening, timing around 6 p.m. And as we all know that this is a winter season, so days are shorter and shorter every day, and nights are increasing their duration. So sunset is happening much ahead than the summertime. So today, night sky in Bhopal around 6:18 p.m. Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Moon. And you are also able to see some other stars. But the point I want to make here that exactly simulating our night sky out our night sky, both are two different things. Why? Because the moment you want to actually simulate your local night sky, you have to add that pollution also to make sure, and you have to control magnitude also as per your naked eye visibility. As we all are familiar, able to see from 1 to 6 magnitude. Minus is okay, that those are very bright objects, but 1 to 6 magnitude is easy to see from our naked eye. Or depending on the location, wherever we are, and also the light pollution. The light pollution is very serious these days, and we all are very about this upcoming challenge which we are going to face. There's one challenge is light pollution, and the second one is so many satellites are coming in low Earth orbits. So how they are going to affect accessing night sky from our ground, it is a matter of concern. So here, so location window for Hyderabad, this may be okay. And these are the, if you are not familiar, your place is not visible here, you can choose your own latitude and longitude. And important because elevation exactly decides horizon. And if you are really putting correctly the elevation value, help you to plan your very early rising or setting stars also in the night sky. And this list of sky objects here, you can see we can change these parameters, and here is a limiting magnitude. And all, I don't know how many of you are really involved in a sky observation right now, or you also a bit of astronomy, optical astronomy. So 6 magnitude here is the value is 6.5. Professor Pahari, my screen is visible?
Yes, you are visible.
Yeah. So limiting magnitude is 6.5 magnitude. That means a little beyond the limit which we can see beyond 6 magnitude, but for that we need a complete pitch dark sky without even. That is the concern. So we will fix here. We will use 6 here. And also when you landscape, here you see different parameters. Even we can escape some other objects, planets, sun, moon, and here is again limiting magnitude. We can fix the magnitude here. That is very important for correlating our eyes whenever we are observing using a small satellite, small telescope that may be 8-inch or 4-inch also for a common man. Anybody who is interested in school audience, they may be having a smaller diameter telescope. But I'm talking about if we have also 8-inch, 10-inch, or 14-inch like IIT Hyderabad is having. Am I right, Professor Pahari? That is 14-inch?
Yes, 14-inch, yeah.
Yeah. So For figuring out which object we are going to observe, we need to actually find out on our, and if we don't have a sky chart, or if we haven't planned that sky chart using our own exact latitude longitude, then these simulating software, for them we need to figure it out exactly like our eyes can see. So instead of just higher magnitude which are not visible, those objects are not visible to our eyes, it may not be appropriate to choose the object exactly. So here you can Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, and Moon. And if someone is planning to observe in these coming days, or in 1 month, or upcoming 1 month also, or next month, so this celestial drama is happening in the night sky every day. The celestial drama means Saturn and Jupiter very much visible just after the sunset, and slowly they are going to set. The setting timing is very late than the Venus. So Venus is a very in terms of if we say it's a orchestra, it's a celebrated orchestra ballet of our celestial objects. Venus is a star in this show. Not only Moon is coming and going. The planet Venus is a star in this whole presentation, because it to most of us who are interested or may not be interested, but they can be caught by the beauty of Venus. And if we have a telescope, my God, very powerful telescope, with the help of that telescope, Venus phases can be seen. Even for seeing Venus phase, we don't need that. But my concern is that even the cloudy patches, the hazy patches of Venus clouds matters a lot. So this 14-inch telescope can help us to, which is rightly started with this spirit by your group of experts, professors, Professor Pahari, I think leading the responsibility of the group. It's really important using that 14-inch telescope. If you can align the telescope towards, and you can try to capture. Capturing is also very important part, rather optical observation. If you have a camera, of the camera, you just align the camera, remove the eyepiece, and with the adapter you place your camera. That's a normal camera, or these days we have a good mobile connecting adapters also. Apart from that, if you have a camera like a sensors which are coming especially for observing purpose also, a bit of serious astronomy, I think that can add whole observation setup by IIT Hyderabad. Here, Saturn, Jupiter, as we all know, Jupiter is very powerful, but the very important is still very peculiar. Though we have very powerful telescope, we always use Galilean moon in adding extra moons. So we have to figure it out how we can utilize those extra moon, if it is possible to capture, or what is other smaller moon, because Jupiter is the second planet in category who is having a lot of satellites. Earlier Jupiter was having first rank, but now this rank is snatched by Saturn. Saturn is the second largest planet, by the way, but this is the only planet in our solar system which is having more satellites. Earlier we used to think, because failed star also, it's a planet, but it's a gaseous object, right? A gas giant, but due to its gravity it was behaving like a security guard at our main gate. So whatever is coming from the outer part, maybe from Kuiper belt or from beyond the Kuiper belt, whatever is coming or going in a long run also, the orbit of those incoming or celestial objects, maybe comets and of other type of objects, like recently very popular in 2014-15, comet 16 was very much in the discussion. That was actually the comet used for dedicated European Space Agency also. Rosetta mission was the mission which actually also landed its lander, which we call Philae lander, that comet. So When we are observing seriously, we know exactly the orbits and their pattern, but those all objects, what they must be having at a center, one foci, our sun, their orbits are also being perturbed by Jupiter and Saturn, depending in the night sky at that point in time when they are coming towards the sun. So these all are very important. Forming these characters is very important. I don't want to come in that play where serious astronomy is a cup of tea for all of us, but this is inspiration. This is for motivating. This is for infusing interest of most of the younger minds in the field of science and technology. Use these objects. Even Vega is very important one, and as we all know, in very distant future, Vega will be our South Pole star. So how we can figure it out, construct a story and plan accordingly. So this software can help us a lot. Here we can exactly simulate night sky. Apart from that, any lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, meteor shower, and also the low Earth orbit satellites. Based on the current updated data set of this simulating software, we can also figure the location of satellites which we have launched. For example, we want to track the location of Hubble Space Telescope, and that is faster because Earth orbit. So catching using telescope may not be possible, but using this piece of software, which we call visualization, we can exactly know from where International Space Station is going, or HST, or any bigger spacecraft. Their magnitude is such that we observe them using naked eye only, with pre-information that before happening of the event. So that is the beauty of such. And technicality wise, there are various features. I think this session is not specially designed for exact configuration, how we can configure, how we can search, but I will recommend to all of you who are not exactly using these applications, easily available on, just download and explore all the features. You can figure it out. Also, other information, you can change the features based on your observation and your demand, and you can add extra controlling, but your data catalog. Catalog is very important depending on the nature of astronomy or amateur astronomy you are going to do. Then timing, tools, lots of tools, and even very interesting one for in astronomy research, or even in are very much interested in programming. If we can plan our own script, so this software is very much designed to support that script support. If we can add extra scripts, it's certainly possible, but here already available scripts can be utilized. And then plugins. So this can be added. I will come in question and answer session. If someone is interested to know about various other features, is visible in the night sky at that point in time. Said that positions can be calculated based on this pre-calculated mechanism. Their RA deck, you need a proper observation RA deck, but for this class of telescope, which is remotely using remotes, or they are having their own GPS mechanism, so it is easy to align the telescope. But for professional astronomy, you know, and declination is very important in celestial mechanics. So that is the reason these two parameters are given and their magnitude. And I am just our local night sky of Hyderabad. So based on that local night sky, the time window, these objects are visible at this moment. And Europa, one of these satellites of Jupiter, Ganymede, Io, Jupiter, Moon, Saturn, Venus. Okay, so how this can be used? Powerful tool. Now let us move for the other one. This other one is then immediately will come for discussion. That is very much needed in science rather than just listening one-way communication. So you are seeing this is worldwide telescope. Earlier this project was jotted down by Microsoft with the help of Harvard, Smithsonian, Harvard's Astrophysics Center. That is, I think, Smithsonian Space Astronomy Center, Harvard University. So they started in their collaboration. This came up very well, very powerful public tool. We a lot more, and I will recommend this software to everyone to download on your desktop machines or laptops and try to play with the software. The beauty of this powerful tool is, you can see here, Explore. In Explore category, there are constellations. Based on our location, here, you can see the constellation. Here, constellations are around 84 in number, but very useful and very renowned constellations. We also call zodiac sign. You can figure it out your own. Example, I'm going to use Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is very famous. Depending on the night sky position, here you see my position is Bhopal, observing location, latitude and longitude, view from this location. Then it will automatically simulate the night sky of your local position, and that is because it is using the real-time satellite imagery from various satellites with the help of NASA and its networks of satellites, and also its international collaborations. So even serious astronomical data sets also. Sorry for inconvenience. Just a Sorry, I'm in the center. Today is my working day, especially for this holiday. So that may for all of you, but sorry for that inconvenience. Yeah. So this now it's completely uploaded in GitHub, as we all know that the for open source developers. So this piece of software is very powerful. You see here NGC 5907. When I'm selecting this and trying to bring that object in my view, the beauty of that object can be explored way beyond the stellarium. Stellarium is a very small telescope. It is easier to simulate night sky and other celestial events in stellarium, but for more serious information about those celestial objects, we need a powerful tool, and that was the need of the hour at that point in time. And this team with Harvard University realized, and they came up with this idea. Now it's completely handled by Harvard University's that institute, which is controlled by department of Harvard University. So earlier, I think it's Alisa Goodman, ma'am, Professor Goodman. She was the instrumental with Curtis Microsoft, as he was from Harvard, and this came up. And now it's very successful piece of software. You can plan your. Not only that, the ultimate thing, we can actually simulate and exactly observe how changes are happening. For example, I'm using here different categories: Earth, planet, sky, panorama, sandbox. This is for advanced version because this software is designed to use with Xbox also. You know, Xbox of Microsoft tool, using our gesture, we can control this tool. Okay, otherwise, using computer, our mouse and keyboard is enough. And you don't have to depend on the location-wise observation. The moment you are choosing other categories, then it becomes general category observation thing. For example, in solar system, I'm trying to understand how they are rotating exactly. Then, for example, Saturn object, let us use Saturn here. And here, these imaginative lines are the orbital different objects of Saturn. So Saturn is now, you know, the king in terms of having large number of satellites its own. coming second, though Jupiter is bigger, the biggest planet in our solar system. Here, the moment you can see here, I'm going to increase its rotational speed, and how those changes are being occurred can be observed very easily. So here, you can see different buttons. I can choose speed, and this speed will help you to understand how exactly it is happening. So not only for the night sky observation, the important part of this tool is we can actually understand how actually it is happening. I'm talking about for the beginners, how we can use this piece of software to realize the orbital velocity, their rotation around axis, and the moment we are changing, you can see if this is half visible and half dark portion, it clearly shows that sun is on the illumination side. So the realization in our mindset, how actually these things are happening, is very important. And as we all know, reading facts, even mathematical understanding, may not solve complete picture of our understanding. Most of us, I'm not sure about all, most of us are not very much familiar with that. We haven't captured our own galaxy from outside, because galaxy was captured image that's the image created based on our observation from Earth, from different direction and previous surveys done by different space agency and astronomers. But that is the idea based on our understanding of the spiral nature of our galaxy. The image is available. Actually, that image has not. The image was not, because we haven't crossed our galaxy. Only Voyager 1 and 2 of NASA has crossed our solar systems. They are now in our cross heliosphere. They have crossed Oort cloud and way beyond the Kuiper belt. They are now in the actual galaxy of our own Milky Way. So how we can use this piece of technology? My intention is to bring very rapid. Even here, you can see moon is rotating because I have changed the speed around 10,000 times faster than the normal rate, and moon is changing. So with the help of this, we can actually understand, especially from a school's point of view, and whoever is part of your amateur astronomy club, Nakshatra Astronomy Club of your department, they can play with these tools and they can learn a lot. And then with the help of telescope or from their home, from their backyard, they can actually visualize the object with this connection, pre-knowledge. That will help them to understand in detail about the objects. And here you can see, actually, I want to pose a question here. We all are seeing moon is rotating. The way moon is rotating on its axis, is it possible to observe from our Earth? I don't know how many of you are here at present. Is it possible to observe from our Earth? Yes, Vibhavasu. Yes, that's true. Actually, I am simulating this from the simulation, and it is not relative from the Earth. So that's why we are able to see the rotation of moon. Exactly, moon is locked in our gravity with the Earth. So it is rotating. So we are always seeing one side of the moon, actually not the other side. Even that was the reason for the moon landings also done by Apollo astronauts. So whatever space missions were done earlier, they have landed on the near side of the moon, which this portion which is visible from our planet Earth. And most of the space rover missions also came for near side. But recently, 2-3 years back, oh God, sorry. Yeah, so that was the intention. I wanted to make sure. And now I think, considering the time limitations, so we can start interactions also. Then I will come to that software and the features. So I will rather recommend to use that piece of software for exploring your own. And then it's very easy to understand and design your serious observation also with the help of software. These are the objects which we are very much familiar these days, Europa and Saturn's moon Titan. Both the objects are very much in demand because possibility of supporting all favorable situations for life on these moons, respectively, of Jupiter or Saturn are very high. That's why even upcoming there is a one mission for Europa already, and in upcoming years from NASA, one quadcopter is designed to fly in the atmosphere of Titan. So after successful Cassini mission, they are planning to send this quadcopter for further exploring the terrain situation of Titan, which is the beautiful or only moon which may have supporting environment for life that we don't know exactly as of now, but based on the Huygens experiments done by Cassini when Cassini was orbiting. So Huygens was detached from the Cassini and it was designed to land on the surface of the Titan, and that was the reason and for motivation behind for further exploration. The whole cosmos is so much interesting and beautiful, and these are very small too. And time is the only fourth dimension which we don't have enough to exactly expand in our own manner like higher dimensions. So on this note, thank you so much for giving me this wonderful. And now I will prefer to interact based on Q&A session. Professor Pahari, if it is okay with you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kaurav. It's a very wonderful introduction to the digital softwares, Stellarium and WWW. And I guess the students here who have been attending, and then we can actually share the links of the softwares also in our web page, so that who are not here, not able to present in this particular lecture, they can also go through and browse through those softwares and then explore more about it. Yeah, so can you just, I have one question, if okay with you. So can you just, like, for example, WWT, can you just show me or show us like one interesting feature that we can actually explore more? Like, let's say we want to see what is on the surface of, more about the one of the Titan, let's say the one of the Saturn of, one of the moon of Saturn. So are there any way to know what are there on the surface of the Titan and what are the activities going on? Or for example, also we want to see like if there are any space missions around the Saturn, Jupiter or beyond, like the planet which are very far away. Can I get those informations from any of these two softwares?
Yeah, not exactly, because this is for that there is another piece of simulating software, very powerful tool, but NASA's EYES, EYES, but that software has one limitation, that those will be only the projects which are NASA. But that is perfectly designed for exactly predicting which orbital spacecraft is orbiting which one, and calculate in real time their locations also, not only for those far space missions for near Earth orbit, but for this worldwide telescope. Why I'm recommending it is now in completely public domain. It is no one is owning it. Only Harvard University, their astrophysics department, and upgrading with their collaborators. So this is very peaceful software, peaceful very useful software, and utilized for planning many things from your amateur astronomy club point of view. Even Nakshatra is having serious objective. Nakshatra Astronomy Club is having much serious astronomical objectives also. So this can help in that. If you want to plan for Titan imagery, because as we all know, Symbiote is a database. I want to bring in your notice. If some object, for example, I'm using one sky, and I'll stop this speed now. This is our galaxy's, central arm. Galaxy center exactly visible. So in this particular software, hello.
Yeah, are you sharing your screen? We are not able to see.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I stopped. Then now I'm sharing here. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, coming up. Yeah.
You see here?
Yeah.
So this software is having very different beauty than the stellarium, because stellarium is basic in terms of simulation of night sky and other features. But this one is having original satellite imagery taken by different space missions. The imagery constructed with the help of ground-based space telescopes, continuous observations using various networks of telescope like CAC, USOS, VLT, or Grand Canarian, that is in Canary Island of Spain, or maybe Japanese, or from the, so lot many. And so collectively they have built a network to put all the data here. So you see, if you choose any object, for example, I am going to select any random star here. It is showing some name as per the catalog of the star. If I'm on right, you can see here, research. We can research about this object more seriously. Here, and if we click, not the information, and we can use different database, Simbard, publications related to this in areas, as we all know, are hyperlinked with this the server of, that is also, I think that is also controlled by Harvard University. Am I right, Professor Pahari? ADS?
Yes.
Yeah, and
now
look up by any
together. Yeah.
Okay. So serious type of research. For example, any data set, depending on your interest, we can download images in different formats. FITS or JPEG image. FITS is a very appropriate format for most of the in astronomy. And so it's, with the help of this amateur start, the very early start, we can go for serious. I mean to say amateur astronomy. Even for serious astronomer, it can also be utilized for figuring out their pre-information preparation for the real observation on bigger telescope allocated to them based on the allocation time. So, and virtual observatory using those connects, possibility to connect, and lot many features. So, and even settings, very much we can has no atmospheric setting like the stellarium. So whatever we are seeing in the night sky, those all are actual observations by space-based or ground-based telescopes. So our night sky can become serious astronomy interest also, and in different ways. So because this small 40 to 50 minute session cannot help us to do that, a serious dedicated session. And I think I would recommend these are designed in a manner to learn by yourself. Means we have to invest in a school student who is watching this program or attending this seminar or interaction. Please explore, download, and I will, Professor Pahari, if it is feasible for you, it is not property of any institutions, it is for all. So you may place the links of brief information about them on your page for larger benefit of your Nakshatra Astronomy Club.
Yeah, I will do that definitely. And also I was thinking, like, if it is possible, like if someone, if you conduct when the offline sessions will start, and then if we conduct a small hands-on training, so the students or someone will come with their laptop, and then we can show them like how to install, and then how can we navigate through different. So right now what you are showing, like other people like us, we are seeing like what we can do in your screen. And rather, like if it possible, like in future, so that you can come here and you can show us with your laptop, and then demonstrate, have some 1 or 2 days of hands-on session, how can we utilize this software to actually look at the sky even sitting at home. Like say we have 3-4 months of rainy season, so we can't go out and look, but even in that time we can have our this kind of software and look at the sky. So if possible, in future or near future, we are planning to conduct some kind of session. So if you be happy, we can come and then we can have a training, kind of hands-on training for this kind of softwares.
Oh, thank you. Certainly. So is there any question?
Yes, students.
Good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. I am Kunal Kaurav, currently studying in class 10. And as you explained a very brilliant software, which is Stellarium, and you explained that we can attach our customized scripts on it. So I wanted to ask that is it multilingual? I mean, it supports multiple programming languages, or it has some specific language for programming?
That we need to explore exactly, because but it supports. So basically Python is the current hot topic for all of us, so we can figure it out. Either is it possible to script. For that I would recommend, they have a group of people, they are doing programming for the Stellarium group also, and the website of Stellarium, you can go and find out, you can even contribute for them. So this is open source software, that's why it's a collectively contributed by various people. So you can, and even we can plan our own mathematical simulation based on other scripts. So that's why I was talking that script. They have pre-built scripts also. You explore those scripts and see how they are relating to it. And then in the last session, you will find you can connect with the people. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Professor Pari?
Yes, yes. So I'm waiting if other students can come up with inquisitive questions.
You may ask on behalf of student 2-3 questions, very relevant. This linking these software on your portal, student to choose before planning to use your telescope. And I would seriously recommend, if you allow me to do that, instead of observing Galilean moon of Galileo, who actually did more than 400 years back, a telescope we can explore more powerful things which are not easily visible for our naked eye. For that we need to form a serious kind of group for your department.
So you will be happy to know, Dr. Kaurav. So yesterday we have tried to observe with our telescope, and then we found in Saturn we found at least 5 to 6 moons we have actually spotted. And in Jupiter we see it's a lines of moons on both sides, so total 3 + 4, 7 moons almost.
Oh my God, good.
So it was very nice, but actually we are now trying to fix with a camera so that we can take some image. Yes, Soma Roy, she has a question. She raised a hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, Somaji.
Can you? I think you need to unmute. Maybe I don't know. Yes, please unmute and ask if you have. Let me see. Okay, I think I don't know. Okay, anyone else have questions? Please ask. Go ahead. So also, if it is very, I mean, if our students are interested, then one day, I mean, you can have a short video tour of your regional science center. What are the activities going on in your place, and then also all over India, the NCSM and other, I mean, councils, I mean, this regional center, what are they doing to motivate or this outreach students for this kind of outreach program? So please also send us.
Thank you, Professor Pahal, for bringing this discussion on the table also. I'll take hardly a minute. I want to make announcement of our network. Our network is very big in India. Under our parent body, which we call National Council of Science Museums. This is a non-profit functioning under the aegis of Ministry of Culture, Government of India. So we have network of science centers and science museums across the India, and as of having 25 centers. Other than our headquarters and Central Research Training Laboratory, both are the same building, headquarters, Calcutta. We have Birla Science Center, Birla Museum, which we call Birla Industrial Technology Museum, BITM. We have a Science City in Calcutta. We have Nehru Science in Mumbai. In Bangalore, we have Visvesvaraya Museum. That is also VITM, Visvesvaraya Industrial Technology Museum. We have in Delhi, or in most of the states we have in capitals. Not in all, but most of the state. And for rest of the states or different state authorities, our council, based on their request and demand, also constructed, developed science museums, science centers for their state authorities or individual authorities of districts. So we have large networks. So far we have crossed 50 science centers, including our network and the network which we have developed for the different stakeholders. And we don't have in Hyderabad, which is controlled by us. So Hyderabad is also having a Birla Science and Technology Center, if I'm right, Professor Pari?
Yeah, Birla Science Center. Yes, yes.
That comes under Birla's also, yeah. So I will recommend to all of you, whoever is watching this program or in future, please try to explore these pieces of software and plan accordingly your sky observation. Because in TIFR, I was working with Professor Ojha, my supervisor, Professor Devendra Ojha, and he was having optical astronomy observatory responsibility also. So we were having Celestron's 14-inch telescope on the rooftop of the TIFR towards the sea-facing side. And we were having a dome also. So still that telescope is there. So being a part of research fellow student, that responsibility was also tasked on my shoulders to plan some observation for students of TIFR. So that's why I'm saying 14-inch telescope is such a powerful device. Whichever company, or I don't know the format, it is a reflector class or refractor class or whatever Newtonian you might be having, but you try to use these planned software for your observation.
And I also think that one powerful application that this software is that when you are actually using your own telescope, like it can be 8-inch, 10-inch, or 12-inch, and from your location, how the sky will look like, you can actually predict before actually going out with your telescope. And
Perfectly.
that actually helps you to plan, like when to go there, what to observe, how long to observe.
Why it is essential? Why it is essential? You are correctly pointing right point, Mr. Pari, that if you are prepared in advance, then you may have larger time for observation.
Right. Only that the clouds we faced a couple of times is not predictable at all. So like you are focusing on some planets and then it suddenly disappear and some clouds come. So we cannot really do away with this. But winters we usually don't have clouds much, although the climate is changing. So we have to replan things accordingly. But we hope like we'll have some good nights. I mean, very clear nights, so that we can observe more on this cancer. And also, what is your opinion about observing these meteor showers? For example, the Geminids meteor showers, which is coming up in December, mid of December. So what are the best way to observe meteor showers? What can you say about it?
Yeah. You know, for this, you need a really proper preparation and planning, because I don't know about it is a manually controlled or it is controlled using GPS.
No, so we have an like handheld calibrator, electronic calibrator. So once we calibrate like with 2-star Vega, so it will automatically track any planets or anything accordingly in the real time. So it's possible to track any object or any planets once we calibrate and set it up.
Oh, fantastic. That is certainly possible. For you observed earlier such meteor showers?
No, sorry, say again.
Have you observed earlier or any such very fast moving in the night sky objects?
No, we have not done it yet.
Oh, I think it is very much important. If you must be having CCD camera, CCD attached adapter, which comes for the telescope only. I don't know whether or not. Do you have? telescope's own imaging camera?
Yes, we have one imaging camera. So we are now going to explore that more. So we just focusing. I mean, only we are trying to look through our eyes, but now in the next step we are trying to set up our camera and take some snapshots.
You try to set up the camera. The camera must be having its own software also, which may be installed, or maybe you have already installed on your desktop or laptop. And you try to change parameters, control brightness, and also the duration of object, what we call exposure time. And
no, sorry, actually,
right now,
I might have, so it's basically my question is, suppose, I mean, all the participants or students who are here, they don't have access to telescope, but they want to look at the meteor shower. So what is the best way to look at it? Like how long they have to wait, or what is the frequency of the meteor showers, or I mean, how? It's like an observation plan without any telescope or without any instrument.
Yeah, and that should be because the main motive of any sky observation program is not only with the help of powerful tools, with our naked eye only. You need a complete dark patch sky. You calculate the timing. I don't know their timing in December as which part of the night. So we have to plan accordingly. In the night sky, try to observe that portion of sky and see if any changes are happening, because the moment it comes in our atmosphere, so creates fireball kind of structure, so we can track easily little bit their track. So I'm not that serious observer of such showers here in my experience. So I would rather recommend to use a mathematical tool like a stellarium or any other, and plan in it. And before the day of night, exactly the way astronomers actually do, before the day of night, you actually plan and try to simulate and everything in your preparation, and don't use your bright light. There are some basic norms for naked eye observation also. Don't use it, even don't see. And nationally, it is recommended that at least you need at least half an hour to tune your eyes for the night sky for observation. So if you're using mobile phone or any source of light nearby, it will destroy your observation. So you be ready with the night, complete night, pitch black night. Use any light source. If you are seriously want to use something or such software, so there is a red light feature now, observation, or red light torch for reading sky chart. Those are minimal basic requirement for such observation. Use of setup. Otherwise, the moment you are switching off for a fraction of a second towards any bright LED or light or any device, your may get disturbed. So I would recommend every one of you, please go in advance, just learn the beauty of night sky one day before, or go before 2 hours of the event and try to chalk out night sky imagine linings. This is the one constellation, another constellation is coming, those showers will come from this direction, and your eyes should be accustomed to that exposure to night sky time. No bright light is highly dangerous. You cannot recover. The moment you see for a second, you will lose your eyes behavior.
Okay, so we have 2 questions. Yeah. Mr. Soma Roy, are you there? Okay. Sri Shumansi also has raised her hand. Sri, can you ask your question?
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask that the meteor can appear in any part of the sky. So how can we adjust our CCD or sky viewfinder that we can get nearby that location where we are can't see the meteor showers?
I'm not able to hear you.
Okay, let me explain her question. So she is asking if the meteor showers is coming from any part of the sky. So then how can you set up your telescope or CCD to look at the meteor shower or to know from which part of the sky? Is that the question, Sri?
Yes, sir. I mean, how to get it sharply?
That I don't have exact answer, because the reason being, I'm not astrophotographer. I love photography a lot, but astrophotography such fast-moving object, observing using telescope, I think is very challenging because your telescope cannot move with that rate, and with that rate, the falling rate, the server is actually following the track, and those line will, you need a higher exposure, your telescope CCD or imager, and those imagers will receive only streak of lines if everything is appropriate. But I don't have any problem to say anything about such fast-moving object using our telescopes, because telescope cannot move that faster. For a longer time, if they are visible in the field of view of our telescope, depending on the diameter of our primary mirror. For example, for yours, it's a 14-inch. IIT's Nakshatra Astronomy Club. For that, you have to figure it out limiting factors also, and do little bit mathematical calculations to simulate whether it is possible to observe with that telescope or not. Otherwise, naked eye will be easier, and try to find magnitude of those falling. How we will enjoy the beauty. If it is possible, then enjoy with the naked eye. That would be highly recommended.
Okay, so I can add to this because I did a bit of research on that because I am now planning to set up all these things. For example, like this upcoming meteor shower called the Gemini meteor shower. So it actually origin in the Gemini constellation. So if you look at the constellation, they have few stars. There is one star called the Castor. So if you just focus on Castor, most of the meteors are coming close by the Castors. So if you have slightly big field of view, slightly large field of view, and if you just put the Castor at the center of your field of view, so you can expect like at least 1, 2, 3, depending on how frequent are they, you might catch few in your telescope. Okay.
Oh, that's really beautiful answer. Okay. And for that, you need a little bigger field of view.
Yeah, because I mean, it is, although it is around Castor, but it might be like 1 degree or 2 degree or that area around, anywhere area around that Castor. So if even if you have like half a degree FOV kind of thing, still you can see at least 1 or 2. I can guarantee that.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Yeah. Any other question? Please go ahead. Anyone else?
I have a question. Which planet can we visualize from Kolkata without telescope? Tonight.
You can see, tonight, that's tonight, definitely. Today, as a normal colloquial term, today means Aaj. That is actually related with. So tonight, and the beauty of Kolkata is your sunset is much, much higher than the other our country. So you must be having sunset around 5 o'clock or before that. So you just plan, you can see Saturn, you can see Jupiter using naked eye only. And they are very bright enough, easy to find out. Venus is very easy to find out, and low in just above the horizon. And since Kolkata is having early sunset, that means you have to observe Venus and Saturn and Jupiter. And also, depending on the moon's position today, I don't know exactly at what time it will be see. So you can also enjoy the moons. And today moon must be having 6 or 7 days, so more than 50% illumination of moon.
Yeah, 19th November is the full moon day, so we are close.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I think, I mean, most of us from India, we can at least see Venus, Saturn and Jupiter, these three, and the moon. So they are exactly in the line that Dr. Kaurav has shown us in that stellarium thing. So basically, just go on your rooftop, any dark area, so and you can easily spot them, all of them, aligned in the same line.
This is a real celestial arrangement, because last year in December, I think you may all be familiar with this. Saturn and Jupiter come very close. half degrees,
Conjunctions,
less
yes.
than half degree. So for naked eye, they were supposed to look, single object from Earth because of their, which we cannot distinguish them without telescope. But that did not happen exactly. And last year, they were not that much close. They were easy to visualize using our naked eye. They are two objects exactly. So that was the reason. And now they are going far. They are very far from each other, but their orbital arrangement in such a way, and our Earth is also rotating. So that's why they are going far, 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 and they will change their position. That beauty, same direction, both the planet.
So maybe next year we might not able to see them together.
That can be beautifully calculated using a stellarium.
Okay. So in stellarium, you can just go in future, like how it looks like in next 1 year, 2 year, 5 year time scale.
Future, past, everything you can plan. And you have some certain restrictions also in terms of data, but you can plan on future also. So that is the beauty of that software. You can even predict all the things as predicted by how it will be looking like from your location.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So this is like a public lecture. You don't have to think about like if I should ask. Just ask. If something is there in your mind, just ask. That is why we are here for.
Switch off, I think.
Okay. So if anyone has any question, you please ask, or you can also contact me, Mr. Kaurav. So we can share his email ID and the details. If you have any questions in future, you can directly contact him. He can answer your questions and queries whenever he will be free. And also many thanks, Dr. Kaurav, for giving your time and such a very nice presentation and letting us know about these two softwares particularly. So I hope students will have their time spent on this kind of software, and then if they have any questions, they will contact you.
Yes, and pleasure to see Dr. Kaurav after a long time. So always a pleasure. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are so happy to see you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We have one more question.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. Mr. Shashwata Chowdhury, he asked how to proceed for astrobiology.
For astrobiology, you need to write to some astrobiologists for that. On a very lighter note, astrobiology is a very interesting area, as somewhere down the line are affected by Carl Sagan, especially myself. I should say, I don't know about others. Carl Sagan is my hero, and he made one starting Cosmos series that was reenacted by the currently celebrity of science Neil deGrasse Tyson, Cosmos 1 and then Cosmos season 2. So in those two seasons, even in season 1 also, the first Cosmos, original Cosmos, astrobiology was always a central part of the discussion. And we all should not forget astrobiology means only a part of searching life like us. It's any signature which is really relevant to the humanity as far as understanding about the survival of any sort of life signature. Since you have raised the question, it's very relevant in today's time, because even on right now when we are talking of Mars, there is a very famous rover which we call Perseverance of NASA. It is having many experimental on-board equipment, trying to understand the signature, and it is in Jezero crater. Since you have asked the astrobiology, the life searching possibility of life is also one objective. So that Jezero crater is a one kind of delta. It is believed that in ancient past of the water was coming and was just collecting like a big pond, like a big lake or a kind of small sea, very big. You see the data online, you can check out. So the possibility of higher possibility, I should say, for finding any signature of any sort of life is affected because water was there. And as we all know, for finding out life signature, to look water. But most of the experts are also saying that predicting life only with the help of water may not be the appropriate. We have to also come up with other parallel concepts, so that water is very essential on our planet Earth, and we all knew that grew because water here, so we are searching accordingly. And we have to also come out with other possibilities. And as I mentioned, one of the famous moon, or I said the beautiful moon of Saturn, is future missions objective from NASA and some other space agencies collaborate. One Indian origin scientist also involved in that project, you see. So these all are coming up to find out the possibility of signature of life, possibility of water, and which form of water is available. So there are institutes. You can do your higher studies in Europe, or I don't know exactly in India also. On Professor Bahari will be more appropriate person to help you for doing graduate studies, your PhD, and then come up with your own mission proposal for ISRO from Indian side on other nearby celestial neighbors. India is planning Venus mission in future, but for atmospheric study. Venus is the target which lost its attention in last couple of decades, but again, once again, most of the space agencies are aligning themselves for exploring further Venus mission. Japanese Akarai or some sort of same name spacecraft detected possibility of some sort of signal side of the atmosphere. So the Venus is now once again the prime target, and astrobiology is the central in all such exploration. Hello?
Yes, actually, I agree with Dr. Kaurav. Like India, we have not started the culture of astrobiology research, but it is definitely something maybe in near future we need to plan. Like we need to have at least one mission like Kepler, what they are trying to find out extraterrestrial, extrasolar planets which might have hover the life, but also, and they, I mean, it is a very small mission, but it really did a lot of, I mean, discoveries which actually are potential places for having life, but it need to be keep on continue like the journey. So from Indian side, we also need to contribute, I mean, to this kind of activities also, because this is something really exciting. One of the, I think, having discoveries like life on a different planet is maybe the most exciting discovery in the century, or maybe.
And I think that is the only point which Saswata Chaudhary mentioned. Astrobiology is the only extra solar planet, exoplanets beyond our solar system. Most of the missions were getting funding because of this objective only, searching life or possibly our Earth-like planet in different solar systems. And as we all know, there are many such objects, more than 3,000 confirmed, like Jupiter-like planets are already there. We are just still searching like Earth-like a planet using different space missions. And by the way, on this, I would rather bring attention to all of yours. I think Mr. Pahari or your team has already mentioned JWST on your Nakshatra Astronomy Club as well. And I want to say that JWST is the biggest ever attempted space mission in the human history. So all of you explore. This mission may bring some new findings which we haven't seen or thought as of now. And even for life possibility, this mission may come up with new ideas, new concepts, because this is designed to probe universe very back. It's a kind of just after the Big Bang, around 13 billion years back. So such 6.5 meter diameter telescopes, very specially engineered, I should say, because they have 4 laid and they are going to launch on next month on 18 December. So I should say today is the 14th. So 1 month, permit me 1 day error, depending on the number of days of this month. And that's November 30. So that's the 31st. So you find out this For next 6 months, it is not going to observe because this will take 6-month journey to reach on L2. That is the Lagrangian L2 point. That is the far point as a part of Earth-Sun 5-point arrangement, which we call Lagrangian points. So the L2 is the right place and it is infrared observatory. Make sure to all of you, it is infrared observatory. So it's very good telescope designed especially. Sorry. So with this JWST because I'm very much big fan, and even Professor Pahari must be remembering. And we were having a small student interaction. Saurav, I don't know whether you were there, San, and every one of us there. I just tried to deliver a talk on JWST when we were a student there. That was the motivation behind the early discussions in one group of students, and that is now bigger project. It is led by NASA, European Space Agency, and Canadian Space Agency. Very powerful device. 4 major science onboard instruments, and that environment may come up with new reveal. Sorry. Sorry for inconvenience. So please explore, and we should cross our fingers for such unexpected discoveries. And I think it will be in the core in future because of such missions.